Great Awakenings, holistic leaders. We give it a little time for the notification to go out and for people to pop on. Great Awakening, thank you for joining. Just give you a little wave. Please let me know by typing a 1 if you can hear me okay, because I had to switch over to my phone and I closed the blinds to make sure I didn't get too much of the sun coming in. Hey, good morning. Thank you for joining. All right, wonderful. Thank you, Tanya. I'm just giving you a little wave. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Great Awakenings, Grand Rising, good morning. Thank you for joining Morning Chat for the Soul. I am Phoenix Love of A Healer's Haven Holistic Health and Wellness Solutions. I work with purpose-driven leaders to provide holistic healing solutions to help you achieve your wellness goals as well as work-life balance. I am the helper to the healer and the healer to the helper. Thank you again for joining this morning. Great Awakening says thank you for joining. So the topic this morning is, I hope everybody's having a beautiful morning so far. The topic this morning is about the signs of having stagnant energy. Okay, and this is very important for you to know if you are not aware of, how the energy should be flowing through our bodies and why that's so important and how it impacts every aspect of our functioning. As a clinician and a therapist, one of the things that we look at as far as when we have to, do an assessment and diagnosis with clients in the traditional sense of psychotherapy and helping people in the mental health field is that we look at their functioning, their day-to-day functioning. So that's part of the assessment. As far as how if they're attending school, if they're functioning as far as their interpersonal relationships, even getting up and being able to do their daily grooming. This is all a part of the assessment. Why? Why is that important? Because it gives us information and it's communication even for the person that if I'm not able to function the way I normally do on a day-to-day basis, then that means there's some kind of breach and there's some kind of something going on within me, either mentally, emotionally, or even physically, that I'm not able to operate the same way. So it's just like if you have a headache or a stomach ache or even something that's more chronic, with maybe some knee pain or back pain. You're not able to function and do the day-to-day operations and day-to-day tasks that you normally do. So it's the same thing with energy. So energy is really the basis of it all because I will consistently teach on this because I want everybody to understand that the spiritual aspect of us and the scientific aspect of us is not mutually exclusive. They work in tandem. They work together so that we can either, function at our optimal wellness level, right? So that's the whole point. That's the whole point of my whole platform because they need to work together. So there are different ways. One, you need to be able to do a checks and balances on yourself, and I'm here to be a guide and answer any questions, but also what are the solutions when you know something is out of balance. So this is a lot of the information you see me share in this community, when I do my lives, whether it's on my main page or in my business page. But this is really the premise of the work that I do. So I really wanted to touch on this morning the 5 signs of having stagnant energy. Stagnant energy can cause us to have all types of different ailments from a physical standpoint, emotional standpoint, mental standpoint, as well as spiritually. When the energy, think about it this way, our breath is our life. When we're able to inhale, exhale, and have that normal flow of our breathing, right? Then that means that life is functioning and it's, moving along, hopefully in a healthy way. But sometimes even with that, even within our breathing, even within how we hold our body, even how we get up every day and we show up, in our places of work and every day, if something is not flowing or functioning properly, it's going to manifest itself as physical ailments. It may manifest itself as a mood change or a mood shift, depression, anxiety, irritability. And then that flow, if that flow of air is not, it's not operating correctly, then it's even how we hold ourselves. And what I mean by that, most of the time when we are stressed out or something's going on that's not, sitting well with us emotionally or mentally, we tend to tense up. So our body is very, very tense. So we start maybe even having aches and pains in our bodies. So these are the things, are usually some of the signs that there's something that's off in the normal flow of energy and our breathing and our breath, which again, our breath is our life, is not flowing, and there's some kind of stagnation in our body. There's some kind of stagnant energy that's sitting somewhere within our body. And that's directly correlated with our chakras. And that's where the healing can come in as well. So the first, I want to say not even the first. I didn't even put these in order because they're all equally important. So I'm just going to say one of them is that you feel very drained and tired. You have low energy. So if you are feeling, and this is where it gets tricky, especially with women, because we go to the doctor, because I just went to the doctor, so I know how this goes. You go to the doctor and they tell you, you say, oh, I'm not feeling well, I'm not feeling like myself, I'm a little tired and this and that. They want to tell you, you're a woman, so they kind of brush it off sometimes. But then they'll run all of these tests and everything, and sometimes they'll say, oh, well, maybe you need to lose weight, or maybe what's going on with your diet? Are you exercising enough? The usual questions, right? But the other thing that comes up sometimes is they'll say, are you depressed? What's going on? So it's always kind of associated with those things, especially as women. But if you're feeling very drained and tired and low energy, and you know that you're doing pretty much everything you normally do, maybe your diet is good and you're moving and exercising and stuff like that, but all of a sudden you're feeling very drained and tired and nothing has shifted, sometimes that means there's some stagnant energy within your system and you need to move that. It's a blockage somewhere. And it could come from anything. It can be something so subtle that you didn't realize that it even happened. So somebody may have said something to you or did something and you kind of put it somewhere, because that's what we do. We tuck things away, we put it somewhere, we forget about it, but it's sitting there stagnant energy in our body, in our system, right? And then it starts to manifest itself as either a physical ailment or an emotional or mental ailment. So we have to look at that and say, okay, maybe it's that. And it's not, it's not the everyday stuff. So I need to go ahead and pay attention to this. The other thing to me is one of a telltale signs when there's some kind of mental fog or lack of clarity or some kind of confusion. So you're not, that you're usually a sharp person and you can make decisions and you're on top of your game at work and with your family, and you're able to function from a mental standpoint, a mental clarity standpoint, and you can make decisions very quickly. But all of a sudden you have all of this kind of like fogginess and you're not clear and you're confused all the time, and maybe your memory is a little short and you can't remember stuff, and that comes out of nowhere, that comes out of the blue. That is definitely a telltale sign that there's some stagnant energy, because when we start talking about our cognitive abilities, right, and there's no underlying medical condition, and you're usually a very sharp person when it comes down to your cognitive abilities and being able to make decisions and judgment and reasoning and all of the things that has to deal with our brain. But all of a sudden you're starting to feel this fogginess and you're like, what is going on? That is a telltale sign of there's some stagnant energy, and that has a lot to do with the crown chakra. Crown chakra, the third eye, or the first eye as I like to say, that really governs your brain and your your connection with divinity, your ability to make decisions, your intuitiveness. So that's where you have to really look and say, okay, there's something going on here. Another telltale sign is lack of motivation or complacency. Especially if you know you are a person that is always motivated, that likes to get things done, that can make a plan, stick to it, and then all of a sudden you're feeling like, oh my goodness, I can't get started or I can't get going. There's something not right here. There's something not clicking for me right now. Why am I feeling this way? And I've had a number, and I think since the beginning of the year, there's been a number of people that have reached out to me and they're like, Phoenix, I don't know what's going on, but I feel very lost. I have some confusion, just not them normal selves. This can happen. And this is what I'm saying, that this is where we have to be an expert on ourselves. We have to be an expert on doing the checks and balances on how we're feeling, how we're showing up, what is different, what has shifted, and then why, and start being very investigative. And this is where, let me step back for a second. This is where journaling comes in, and where we have to be almost like a detective when it comes down to our mood, our physical health, and our spiritual health. We have to make sure that we are paying attention to ourselves. Because the reason why I'm stressing this is because many times as caregivers, as leaders, as parents, we forget. We don't pay attention to us. We pay attention to everybody else and what's going on around us, and we're not really taking the time out to watch and see what's going on with us and the changes that may be happening. We're always going to be changing and evolving. We should always be changing and evolving as people. I'm not saying the core of us will change, but we should always be growing and evolving, because, right, we want things in life. We have goals. We have things we want to attain and achieve. So, yeah, I apologize. Somebody's asking me a question. So, yes, so you should be an expert on you. So you know when something is off. And that is so important, because that is how you're going to know, okay, I need to do something different when it comes down to my health. So whenever there's something that's not operating the same or the normal way, your normal, because your normal is going to be different than my normal, right? Everybody's different. So you have to know you. You have to pay attention to you. And this is where the self-love comes in, above and beyond self-care. Let me go take in my hair and do my nails. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about loving yourself enough, respecting yourself enough to take the time to pay attention to you, and when there is some kind of change or shift, because that's the only way you're going to know and really see, because some of these things can be very subtle, but if it lasts, if it persists, and you don't do something about it, then it starts screaming at you, okay? Because then it starts to manifest as something chronic, and then you can't ignore it anymore. So we talked about feeling drained and tired. Talked about confusion, lack of clarity, mental fog, lack of motivation and complacency, and feeling kind of lost and out of sorts. And then, of course, depression symptoms. Like I said, if things linger on, it can turn into something more chronic. So depression symptoms, sadness, melancholy, just things that you start to feel like your mood has just went left. And if you know that is not your normal, then you know that there's something not right, as far as, again, it goes back to stagnant energy that can be just sitting there, and it starts to manifest into these symptoms. And the last thing is chronic physical symptoms. And I mentioned this before about having aches and pains in your body that you normally don't, right? And please, let me say this. Because, I'm in my 40s. Many of you are in your 30s or 40s or even 50s. And, what they start to tell us, especially as women, that, as you get older, you start to have little aches and pains, or things change. It just comes with the gray hair or whatever. No, that's really not necessarily true. If you maintain a good diet, you're moving your body, you're getting some good sun in and the nature, and, it's not, you don't have like a ton of stress in your life, you should not have a whole bunch of aches and pains. And aches and pains Even depression, anxiety, that's communication. That's communication that you need to do something different. That's communication. You need to make some kind of change or shift in your life, whether it's dietary, whether it's moving your body more, whether it's making a change maybe in your occupation or your job or something to minimize stress and addressing if there's stress in your life. Because age is not an indicator for aches and pains and illness. And I'm saying that. So me, just like I said, I went and did a checkup last week, and all my numbers were great and beautiful, except for one number, and that's a whole nother story. I'm going doing my exercise regimen, but yeah, you shouldn't go to the doctor and they say, oh, you have high cholesterol, or you have this illness or that illness. That no, that's not something you should accept. That's, oh, I'm just getting older, or you have this pain and that pain when you wake up. No, that means that you need to make a shift or a change. That means probably that you have some stagnant energy in your body that really needs to be moved out. And that is something that you can start by doing on your own, like I said, with dietary changes, moving your body. Some of the practices and things that I've talked about in this community, as far as meditation and prayer, because remember, it's all connected. Your spirituality and the fact that we are humans, we are spirit beings, but in this human body of flesh, and it operates like a machine. So there are certain things that we have to do from a scientific standpoint to make sure that we are functioning at the optimal level. And prayer and meditation is definitely a powerful tool and healing tools to use in order to shift some of that energy around. But also, again, a lot of the practices that I do as far as Reiki and vibrational sound healing. But I've told many of you, get your little sound bowl. You can buy them, you can order it off Amazon. Sound is a very powerful healing tool. And those that work with me, and I've used it in this community when I've done the full moon sound meditation, or I just do a sound meditation. It's very powerful, and it's extremely healing at moving around a lot of stagnant energy. But I am going to be a blessing, and let me just be mindful of the time. That's what I'm trying to check out. Somebody tell me what time it is. I thought this channel tells me. Somebody just type in there what time it is, because I want to be respectful of time. I'm going to show you a quick little thing that you can do to move stagnant energy, okay? Many of you know that I am a certified emotional freedom technique practitioner. That's just one of the many modalities that I use in my work with clients. And a part of it, because I think it was, thank you, Val. I think it was Tatiana had posted in the group about the tapping solution app, which is awesome. If you haven't downloaded it on your phone or your iPad or whatever, do it, because it's excellent tool. Tapping is just hitting on those energy meridians, some of them, because we have chakras all throughout our body. Thank you, everybody. But the main ones are the 7 chakras, but we have chakras in our face, in our hands, in our feet. So EFT is really about shifting that stagnant energy, and it's tapping, like the tapping solution, the actual app. It just shows you different ways to tap on those main meridians, and here and here and under the eye and under here, to be able to shift. And then you couple it with positive and negative statements. So you're getting that duality. You're working the right and the left brain. And there's a whole process. I mean, the app, it gives you a little snippet of it, but when you go through the certification and you train under, the experts, there's like so many layers to this thing. But I'm going to show you a quick other EFT tapping tip to be able to move energy. And basically all you're doing is you're getting up. You need to move your body. That's the key about moving stagnant energy. And good, Charlotte. Yes, it's powerful. Hey, Sam, thanks for joining. I'm actually going to wrap up soon. So you're going to just get up and you're going to move, right? And I'm sitting right now, but I'm just going because I want to show you. I don't want to move out where y'all can't see me. But then you just start hitting yourself like this. And mind you, I did this just yesterday because I was feeling some kind of way. And some of this, you got to realize, everyone, we are also being affected and influenced by the environment. There is a lot of energetic shifts going on right now in the universe. So that is also going to impact how you're feeling and also affect your energy, your personal chi. Because this is all about whether you call it chi or ki or, sakim, which is the Kemetic version of talking about energy. In order to move it, you got to move yourself. That's why I said get out in nature, get some fresh air, allow the sun, Ra, to beam down on you, get that vitamin D, because all of that helps to raise your vibration and your frequency. All of that helps to shift that stagnant energy. But you can just tap on yourself like this and move it. And you will be surprised when you do this, do a couple of rounds of this, and stand up and do your whole body, and just tap your body, your head, all of this, head to toe, and go like this. Because then you're releasing any stagnant energy. Another way to get rid of stagnant energy is to smudge yourself. So you've seen, I demonstrate here, Palo Santo sticks, smudging sticks with sage. I have one that has sweetgrass and sage and juniper. Smudge. Smudge. And if you're in a place like the office locations where I operate out of, I can't have smoke in those particular locations. However, they have smokeless smudge. So you can just buy that, smudge yourself that way. So there's so many different ways, but start with your diet. Do some of the things that I said. If those of you that are familiar with tapping, use, the full tapping with the coupling statements. Those of you who are not familiar, download the app. Tatiana Rodriguez, she posted about it last week. So just do a search. I think she put it under #purpose. Or just, do a search under her name, Tatiana Rodriguez. She posted the Tapping Solution app, and you can go right there and download it. And I'm telling you, we have to know how to take care of ourselves. But the first thing is that you got to recognize that there's something going on. Okay? So that was the message. I want to close out with a quick devotional, as I always do. And I hope this was a blessing. For those of you who catch this on the replay, just put #replay. If you have any questions or comments, you can always drop it in the comment section. And this is out of one of my favorite devotional texts, which is, of course, from my auntie Ayanla Van Zant. Love her. Until today. And I've had this book, about 20 years now, maybe more than that. So it says, I open my heart and mind to be aware that I have the power to take what appears to be bad until it becomes something better. If what you are thinking doesn't make you feel good, change that thought. If what you are feeling doesn't make you feel better, change the feeling. If what you are doing doesn't make you feel worthy, change the deed. Feeling bad has a way of luring us into complacency. Let's talk about complacency. We begin to accept that this is the way it is always going to be, that what is going on is out of our own control. This is true to a point. You can never change what is going on outside of you. However, you can always change what you do in response. Every experience leaves an imprint on our hearts and minds. That imprint evokes certain feelings and thoughts. When an experience triggers those thoughts and feelings, we have the right to say no. Yes, that's right. You have to talk to yourself. Talk to your brain. Talk to your heart. Talk to the cloud of funk that is lurking around waiting to suck you up. No, you are not going to lure me into feeling bad. No, you are not going to convince me that I have to be angry. I am going to think good thoughts no matter what. I am going to love you and accept you no matter what. And if you don't like it, you can take your negative energy someplace else. Try responding to a negative feeling once or twice in this way and watch how fast it will leave you alone. Until today, you may have allowed yourself to be sucked into the energy of bad thoughts, bad feelings, and bad experiences. Just for today, remind yourself that bad cannot bother you unless you are available. I love it. Today I am devoted to speaking to the conditions in my life until they become better. Yes, yes, ashe, ashe, ashe. And I love that. Mind you, that wasn't the original devotion. I don't even know how I got on that page. That wasn't what I picked. But I tell you, this is how spirit works. Because it was all about negative energy. You see? I love it. So the sun is starting to shift, even though I have my blinds closed. So I just wanted to remind everyone that tonight we have the Sunday Soup for Leaders virtual meetup. I'm excited. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. So please, everyone, try to jump on and actually come on so we can see you and get to know each other. And I think the Zoom link is already there. It's the same Zoom link, but I will drop it again. And we are going to be talking about just to close up our week on spirituality, spiritual awakening. So we're going to talk about spirituality, religion, and how it influences your purpose and walking in your purpose. So this is going to be a powerful conversation. I'll have some, just trying to get that sun is moving. I can't do anything about it. I'll have some prompting questions. I do have a new member that's going to present their business and talk a little bit about who they are and what they do. And I just met this sister, and she's in person. And when I say she's just a blessing and a beautiful spirit, so I know she's going to be a blessing to all of you. So, okay, everybody. So I'll see you tonight. That's 8:30 p.m. I'm hoping to see many of you right here in the group. Jump on the Zoom, use the link, and everyone have a wonderful and blessed Sunday. I'm going to say a super soul Sunday. Thinking about Oprah. Have a super soulful Sunday. All right, everyone. See you later.